Hello everyone, welcome to this video of front-end developer interview questions which were asked in Tata Consultancy Services. In this video I have listed all the questions which were asked related to JavaScript, CSS and few questions related to React JS which were asked. So friends, let's start discussing the questions. So first question which was asked is, what are coding functions? Write a code for sum of three numbers where each number is passed individually as an argument. The next question was water closures, how the closure get created, have you used closure in your project, and explain the scenario for which you have used closure. The third question was, explain promise in JavaScript, write an example. As you know, promise is used for achieving some asynchronous operations in JavaScript. So the interviewer asked me to write the syntax of promise. How do we create promise object like new promise? It accepts two arguments like resolve and reject. Once the promise is successfully resolved, resolve method is executed, and if it is rejected, the reject method is executed. Next was hoisting, an example of hoisting. Based on hoisting, he asked me to predict an output. So this was a question, console.log x, while x was defined on the next line. So in this case output will be undefined because we are referencing x, but x is declared on next line using where keyword. So it won't throw any error, but it will only give undefined. But the another statement was console.log y, while y is declared on next line using let. So for this the output will be cannot access y before initialization. The reason is variables declared using let and const do not get hoisted, and because of that we cannot access those variables before initialization which are declared using let or const. Another question was related to predicting an output. So here you can see this is an example of closure. So function inner is inside function outer, so it gets the access of all the variables which are part of the outer function. As you can see, x is referenced inside inner, but it is declared inside outer. In this kind of syntax the closure gets created because the child function keeps a reference of the parent function scope. Because of that, once outer function is executed, inner function will get a reference to the variable of the outer function. So once inner function is invoked, the output will be x, and this is a simplest example of closure. The function inner is a closure that captures variable x from its outer scope. When outer is called, the variable x is set to 10, and inner function is assigned the reference to the inner function which has x in its closure scope. Next question was related to React. So first question was explain the component lifecycle sequence in React. Another question was what is virtual DOM in React and how it enhances the performance of our pages. And the third question was what are higher order components in React? Provide an example of how to use them. And the final question related to React was what are React portals and what is their use case, which I was not aware about. After that, the interviewer asked me few simple questions related to CSS basic concepts like explain the difference between block and inline block. Then he asked me can we apply height and width property to inline elements. I said yes. Then he asked me how. There is a property like display inline block. So if we use this property display inline block, we can assign height and width properties as well to inline elements like span. Then he asked me the different types of positioning in CSS like static, absolute, relative and fixed. And the final question was explain the difference between relative and absolute. When do we use relative positioning in CSS? So these were total around 15-16 questions asked in TCS interview for front-end and UI developer. So friends, please subscribe my channel. It will motivate me to add few more interview questions for which I will appear. Thank you very much for watching my video. Thanks. Have a good day.